Here I have different different styles, a little bit. Each one's a little bit different. This one's done in sterling silver, and I also hammer finished the back and forth swirls. What should we call those? Waves? The waves. How's that? This one too, I hammered it, put a little flat edge on it, and also gave it a little texture with the ball part of my hammer. And these are antiqued. These are not antiqued, but I didn't do a full spiral down here. I actually ran out of wire, and so I'm just going to dangle at one little bead on the bottom there. And here's another pair that are shorter with a little bit more of a spiral there at the bottom. And all of these have the same size spiral at the top. Now you can make your spiral at the top bigger if you would like. You just need to do more times around and also accommodate that with more wire. So the basic amount of wire that we're going to use is anywhere from 12 to 14 inches for like this shape right here. This was 14 inches of wire. So that gave me a generous spiral at the bottom, and I didn't have to worry about running out of wire. So we're going to make this pair today. And I also made my own ear wires, so there's going to be a link for my video on how to make your own ear wires. We're going to be using 16 gauge soft copper, bare copper wire. All of these here have been made with 16 gauge. You can make it out of 18 gauge. That makes a littler, finer little earring, so that's a good way to keep it as a smaller scale. Me personally, I like wearing dangly, longer earrings, but for those that just like small little ones, go ahead and use 18 gauge. Now, we're going to go ahead and get started, and what we're going to do is we're going to make our pair at the same time. So what we do to one, we do to the other. And we also want to remember that you always want to mirror your earrings. So see, these are all going in this opposite directions, right? So we don't want them going in the same direction. And let's see, what else? Oh, don't worry so much about perfection. If you were to examine these closely, they are a little bit different. They're handmade. So don't beat yourself up over them not being exactly carbon copies of each other. Here's what you need to pay attention to, though. You need to pay attention to proportion this way, so you don't want one longer than the other, and widthwise. So you just basically want their proportions to look the same, but this could be a little bit off in here a little bit. That could be a little bit different. That is a characteristic of handmade. So if you're super anal and you need to get these absolutely perfect, you're going to drive yourself crazy and you're never going to be happy. So bottom line is, if you like it, then it's good. Okay? So that's the only thing you need to worry about, is that they just need to be in proportion. Each one of these is a little bit different from the other, but they're in proportion. So anyway, I get lots of compliments on these earrings when I wear them. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started. And remember, I told you what we do to one, we're going to do to the other. So we're going to take our wire, and I'm going to pull off 14 inches of wire, and we're going to flush cut both ends. I like to flush cut both ends because if I should happen to come up short on my wire, then I don't have to worry about sacrificing any kind of length in the end. I know it's just a little smidgen of a bit, but it's a good habit to get into. So I'm going to go ahead and measure off 14 inches. And we want to have nice, smooth, straight pieces, so we can use our wire straighteners. And if you have a hard time grabbing onto this wire and sliding your straightener through, hold one end with a plier. So there's one piece. It's also nice to straighten it right from the coil, because you can hold on to the coil. Okay, flush cut my end. And my wire is going to hit my tripod here, so I'm going to try not to. Each time I try to not have it hit the tripod, I take it out of view, so I'm trying really hard not to do that. Okay, so we've got our two pieces of wire. Now, here's what we're going to do. We are doing this earring here, and so we're going to do this spiral here. So to do this size spiral here, I marked off 1.5 inches from the end with my Sharpie, and that's where we're going to place our round nose pliers. But if you wanted a bigger one, then you could bring it down maybe 2 inches and then make your spiral one more time around. You play around with it. You can also do a closed spiral, and let's see, this one's closed, so it's a little more closer together. This one's more open and airy. So you decide on which one you like, play around. So we're going to do this one. We're going to do open spiral. I'll tell you, an open spiral is harder to get them both to match exactly. So that's why I like to do one and then do the other. So let's go ahead and we'll get started. I'm going to take our Sharpie and we're going to measure off. We're going to go down 1.5 inches. I'm just going to go ahead and mark it right across my 2 wires. Now we're going to grab our round nose, and see, I have my round nose marked also. So we're going to use the smaller loop on these. If you wanted a bigger spiral, you could start off with a larger loop in the middle, and that will already get you a little bit bigger. But we're going to do smaller right here. So I'm going to take my first one and I'm going to place my plier on my mark. So on this mark, we're going to place it in our first markings on the round nose, and we're going to bend one side, and you get your thumb right up against your plier here because we really want that to hug the plier. And now we're going to take the small end, and go in the opposite direction. So we end up with that. Okay, so we did that to that one, now we're going to do it to this one. Okay, so right now they're going in the same direction. So we're going to want to mirror these, right? So I'm going to start one on the back side. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take and we're going to pull this one around. And I'm actually going to kind of push it to the back because the next spirals are going to overlap that one, and this one's going to stay in the back. So we've got that one, and now I'm going to do the opposite to the other one. So let's see here. And sometimes if these are a little uneven and wonky, you can take your flat nose plier and just come in and just give it a little squeeze and straighten everything out. Okay, so that one's going in that direction. And we need this one going in the opposite direction. So I'm going to put my pliers back on here. Actually, we're going to go this way. Okay, push that one back a little bit. And now this one is going to come around like so. Okay, so now this one needs to go Okay, so here's what we have. We have them going in facing in opposite directions, right? So now we're just going to take our longer wire and we're going to come around again and overlapping our shorter end here, and we're going to want to do it so that it's an open. From here in we're going to go more open. Okay, so we're going to take our wire from back here and we're going to just watch what we're doing, and we're going to bow it. Move the stuff out of the way so you can see better. We're going to kind of just bow it out, and we're going to watch where that placement is. And we're just going to place our wire with the separation that we want. So now I did that to that one, so now I'm going to pick this one up and do it to this one. Okay, and take a look at them and compare them. I'm going a little bit further. Okay, now I'm going to continue around. I know this looks like a kind of a pain in the butt step, like you just want to keep on continuing, but believe me, you'll be thankful that you did it this way. Especially if you're a little bit more anal in them being more perfect matching. But it allows you to control the shape and whatnot. I ended up with one being more round, one more oval, and there was nothing I could do to fix it, so I just had to start all over again. Okay, now I'm going to take and go around again. All right, let's see what we have here. Okay, so see, I'm looking here, and see they are basically around the same size. They may be a little bit different, but that's okay. They're basically the same size. I'm going to pull this one in just a little bit. All right, so now we need to bring our long wire now needs to come down here. So we're going to come around one more time. And you can actually now hold this with your fingers and just take this and softly, see how I'm just softly bending that, checking for the spacing and adjusting. And then this one's just going to come. Alright, so now we're going to check this out. I got a little bit of a bend right there, so I'm just going to straighten that out a little bit. Alright, so let's take a look at our two pieces here, and we overlap them and look at them. They're the same size. So this is cool. We're good to go. We're going to start now. Okay, so now we're going to start our waves. And my first wave, I'm going to start with the smaller tip, and I'm going to line it up with the edge of my swirl. It's just a good guideline to go on and an easy way to keep them the same. So here's what I have. Okay, and now I'm just going to take and I'm going to make my first wave. And then I'm going to go ahead and line that up with the other side. Because you're going on the outside of the plier, you're actually going to end up with your loop going beyond outside the edge of the spiral here. Now here's where you can get kind of funky. You can do a long one over here, a short one over here, but you just want to make it so that they are even and match each other. So let's do this one. My husband's walking on the roof. We're putting on a new roof, so if you hear weird walking, that's what it is. All right, so there we go. So now for each row we're going to come in so that it tapers down. So I'm going to come in just a little bit from the edge there, from the end of my first wave, and do it on the other side. And we want to squeeze these in. We want these to come in, overlap, and then put them in place. That one I got in a little, we'll see, are they? Yeah, they're looking pretty good. Okay, so now you can get kind of creative with this part. Now pay attention too about how much wire you have left for your spiral. Do you want a nice big spiral at the bottom? Do you want a small one? If you want a big one, then you have to pay attention to how much wire you've got left. And then also the overall length of your earring, right? So this is with 14 inches and this is how long my earring is getting. And you know what? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it this length. I'm going to use the rest of this for my spiral just to see what that looks like, because you've seen what it looks like with all the rest of them. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that there. And now we're just going to come in here and do the same. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these wires the same length. Let's see here. So we want flush cut ends. So there we have. Okay, so now I'm going to do a spiral. We want to make sure they're going in opposite directions. So they are. So to do our spiral, we're going to do a basic loop this way, and then we're going to spiral it going in this direction. So we're going to take it. I'm going to put it halfway between my tips and my first mark. And you don't want anything hanging off the edge here, and you want to support your wire, and we're just going to roll that basic loop like so. By not having anything hang off the edge, you get a nice, super round, perfect loop. So let's do the other one. Now we're ready to start our spiral. So we want our flat nose pliers. And to begin this, we can go ahead and just push it up. You don't want to be grinding on this either. When you hold this in your plier, you want to have a good grip on your spiral here. Hold it towards the back of the jaws. You'll get a better grip. And just be deliberate on your movements, right? Don't get sloppy and fat and want to hurry through it. You don't want to show all the dings and markings on your spiral if you can help it. And we want our spiral to be centered like so. Isn't that cute? I love that with the bigger spiral on the bottom. All right, let's do the other one. We're also going to hammer this too. So I'm going to show you how to hammer this. Look how cute those are. They're awesome. What do you think? Pretty cool, eh? Okay, so now we're going to do our loop at the back here. So this is what we end up with our wire in the back side here. And we're going to end up trimming this, but it's always nice to have a little extra to work with. So the way I do this is I'm going to take my round nose, and we don't need a big huge loop for this, right? We just need a small loop to attach our ear wire to. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use the smaller part of my round nose here. I'm going to pull this away a little bit so that I can get in there a little bit easier. And I'm going to start back here. Okay, you're just going to start away and you're going to start rolling. I'm actually going to bring this down more. And I'm just going to start rolling. And you're looking at your placement. You want it to be centered. And you want it to cross over like that. And then look at the, see, it's in the middle. Excellent. That worked out well. So I'm going to take this, give it just a little bit more of a spin, so we have more of a nice loop. Kind of straighten it out, and now I'm going to take my flush cutters, flush side towards your work. So this end here is going to come out of this opening here. And these tips are kind of chewed up, but you do need a nice sharp cutter. And we're going to go right in here where it touches, where it meets. Without it overlapping, we're going to go right in there, put our tips to the inside of that loop. And give her a nice snip. There we go. And we just want to straighten it out, make sure the end comes in, and look how cute that is. Alright, we might end up here with... Well, my loop doesn't stick up a whole lot, but that's okay too. Just as long as we can get our ear wire in there comfortably and that they match. So, let's get the other one to match. Bring that down more of a 45-degree angle. And I'm going to pull that out a little bit. Take my round nose up here and start making my loop, looking that it's in the center, and then rolling it so that it crosses over. Oops. There we go. Alright, we're going to snip that. Straighten it out and make sure that loop is closed. You don't want it open so that your ear wire falls off. Make sure it's in the middle. Oh, Julia. My dog, Julia. Okay. Okay, so this is what we end up with. There we go. Isn't that cool? Let's see here. loop is a little bit bigger on this, smaller on this one. I'm going to pull that out by a little bit. Just make your adjustments. Okay, I'm satisfied with that. They're the same length and everything's in proportion. Now we're going to do some hammering. Texturize these beauties. Okay, so we have our bench block and our earrings. We're going to use our rawhide mallet and our chasing hammer. We're going to use the chasing hammer to give it kind of a little bit of a flat edge. We're not going to pulverize it with it. We just want to add a little soft flat edge, and then we're going to go ahead and texturize it with the ball part. But first I like to use this to straighten it out. See how it's a little wonky and whatnot? So, and as you hammer, it wants to curl up. So when we do this one, it's going to want to curl up. So we're going to have to flip it over and keep straightening it out. All right, so I'm going to hang this off the edge because this right here is overlapping and you don't really want to hammer on that if you can help it. So we're just going to give this little taps. It straightens it out and it also work hardens it. So we're just going to give those a couple little taps before we start with our chasing hammer. See how that warps it a little bit? Okay, so we've got them straightened out a little bit with the the rawhide mallet. I'm going to go ahead and give that just a little tap. Not a huge tap, just a little one to try to straighten that out, get it closer in. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and put a little bit of a flat edge on this. So with the chasing hammer is beveled so that your edges don't bang into your work. So keep your work in the center of the hammer. And just let the weight of the hammer come down on it. You don't have to force it down. And that's going to curl up a little bit. See how it warped that? So now we're going to flip it over and do the other side to straighten it out. And it makes everything spread out. See how it made those all spread out? So in the end, we're going to go back and fix those. But right now, I'm not going to worry about it because I'm just going to have to keep doing that back and forth, back and forth. And hold it back here. It's got a little ball on the end of it. That helps you, instead of coming up here like this and trying to make it work, just let the weight of the hammer come down, and that will help control the pressure of your blows also, to make them more consistent. Okay, so we just put a flat little edge on there, and now we're going to texturize it. And I'm going to texturize my spiral and the edges of my waves. So we're going to come in here, and with little taps, we're going to give that a nice little hammered finish. It really picks up the light nicely. Can you see how the light is dancing off that? And now I'm just going to go ahead and do my edges. Don't hit your fingers, it hurts. So just little taps. Now I'll show you, I'll use one of the other ones I have sitting over there, and I'll show you some other ways that you can hammer it to give you a different look. Okay, so that side's done. Go do the other side. And see, it warps it a little bit, so I'm going to come back over here with this, and I'm going to straighten it out. Let me tell you about texturizing your wire and your metals. When you do a hammer finish on one side, if you flip it over and you try to hammer the other side also with a texture, you're going to push out the texture you put on the other side. So you're just reversing what you just did. So you really can't texturize both sides. In most cases, why would you? All right, so see, that's flattening out nicely. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and get the other one done, and then we're going to patina it and make our ear wires. Okay, they're both hammered. I haven't fixed these yet. I'm going to do that right now. So we're just going to come in here, and we're going to cross them over, and then put them into place. There, isn't that cute? They're adorable. I love these earrings. You hear my husband walking on the roof? Sorry about that. I gotta be able to film when I can film. He's home and we gotta get this roof on. Okay. Look at that. Look how lovely. Beautiful, eh? Nice little hammered finish. Okay, so I'm gonna show you on these here. Let me show you what else you could do when you hammer. You can hammer these and spread them out a little bit more. So let's try that. I'm gonna come in. Okay, so I'm gonna spread these out and give them more of a hammered. And I'm kind of spreading it like this, and I'm just doing the edge. See what that does? Isn't that cool? I like the way that looks too. That really spread that out. Now it looks more like a snake. You could leave it like that if you wanted to. Okay, now this really work hardens it too, so I'm going to that end there, I need to use a plier. There, check that out. That gives it a whole different look. I rather like that. Okay, that's two things that's two ways that you could do, well, it's three really. You can leave them just plain. Okay, so now we're going to make ear wires. So check out my link on how to make the ear wires, and we're going to patina these. And check out my link on that. And so there you go. These are too cool, aren't they? Awesome. Here's what they look like when they've been patinaed. I hope you liked this tutorial. Check out my one on how to do we're going to do a pendant also out of some heavier gauge wire. So I hope you have fun with these. And remember, have fun, enjoy it, and don't stress too much over them. Thank you so much for watching. Love you, see you, bye. Have a great day.